Morning, everybody.
Morning, Rabbi.
This week's Parshas Acharei Mois introduction. So the parsha starts off by Vayidabra Hashem Moshe. God spoke to Moshe. Acharei Mois, after the passing, Shnei bnei Aaron, the two sons of Aaron. Why did they pass? Bekarvasam lefnei Hashem vayamusu. They came close to God, and they expired. So what happens? They offered a sacrifice, or they offered incense to Hashem in the Kodesh HaKadoshim without permission. So Rashi says, what's going on over here? Now comes an explanation that God is going to explain to Moshe to give over to Aaron. Yaim v'sheich al teish. You can't go into the Kodesh HaKadoshim intoxicated, and certain things you can't go in there only once a year. And be careful, because if you go in there more than once a year, not in the proper time and not in the proper way, you're gonna get shocked. You're gonna get toasted. It's too powerful. It's too much. So Rashi says, Mashal Achoyla. This is a parable for a person that's not feeling well. Shenichnas Hesel Roifa. He came to a doctor. Amarlo, he told him, Al toichal tzoymen. Don't eat cold. Val tishka b'tachav. Don't sleep in moldy areas. That's like kind of cold. And then you'll be okay. Like, make sure you don't do those things because they're harmful for you. Ba'acher, another person came, and Amarlo said, listen, told him the same thing. Al toichal tzoymen. Don't eat cold. Val tishka b'tachav. Don't sleep in the damp areas. Sheloi tamus, for you shouldn't pass away like Mr. So-and-so. That he did it in your situation. This is what happened to him. The second person really got the guy going. He really put him in his place, and he warned him in a proper way. That's what it says over here in the pasuk. Acharei Mois. When is Hashem talking to Aaron? After somebody just took a hit for it, and someone just got zapped. And now when I'm telling you what not to do, you'll know very clearly what not to do, because we don't want anything to happen again, right? So the question is asked, why is Rashi using certain terminologies over here? We're not going to go into all the details, but basically, one of the questions is, why is saying mashal mechoila, like the person is sick? Just say the person is a healthy person, don't eat harmful food so you won't die. Why have to say the guy's sick, don't do this, and if you do this, it's going to happen like somebody else, and then it's going to... So the answer is like this. Someone that's sick, he wants to get out of it. He'll do anything to get out of it. So sometimes he might do something that to him it seems like it's okay, it's going to save him, but really it's going to harm him. For example, the person is old, has fever. He has fever, so he's going to go to cold places. Sometimes the cold places could be more harmful than not, in a sense. So you look at the story. The story is a classical story that these two sons, they had a tremendous outburst of love to Hashem. They couldn't contain themselves. They couldn't follow the rules, and they just took off like a rocket straight to God. That's pretty much what happened. V'hu adin, so too was with Aaron. Even after this whole thing happened, Aaron had such a love to Hashem that he had to be warned as well. Listen, don't do that. Be careful what you're feeling, because you might have some feelings like this as well, and you might also go up to Hashem without realizing it, and overstepping the bound and going in places where it's not. So it's interesting to see that even Aaron, as much as Aaron, in a sense, his two sons just passed away. It says Vayidam Aaron. Aaron kept quiet. He understood that there were many reasons why that happened. There were many reasons why it happened, but at the same time, there is a very interesting lesson over here, that a lot of times, sometimes we're doing something holy, and we're doing something holy, we don't necessarily check if what we're doing is right. I'm doing something holy. That other person is doing, I have to stop him. I have to tell him what to do. Relax. You may be doing something holy, but make sure that what you're doing, even when you're doing something holy, when you're in a spiritual mode, what you're doing is correct. That what you're doing is not affecting somebody else negatively. And what you're doing is right. Sometimes you can have two things that you have to do, and you choose one because you enjoy it more than the other. But perhaps the other thing that you don't enjoy more, that's the right thing to do. So there is this idea that a person has to constantly check, to ask himself or herself if what I'm doing is correct, and this is what Hashem wants from me. Because ultimately, you're serving Hashem. It's not about serving myself. It's about serving Hashem and doing what Hashem wants me to do. So what does Hashem want from me to do now? Should I do A or should I do B? Not what I want to do now, A or B. What does Hashem want to do for me to do now? So we have to make sure we're not a chayla. We're not being drawn in the wrong place, the wrong time. Hashem Shalom, we should be inspired. We should be able to have. This should be our biggest problem, right? We should have to make the choice between what's right and what's better, right? And we should be zeichet to the coming of Mashiach b'karam mamish. Amen.